While there is no doubt 2020 will be defined by the struggle of COVID-19, it's also worth noting the year was capped off with hope in the form of a vaccine. It's the fastest one that has ever been developed. News Channel 5's Chris Davis takes a look back on how we got here.
In the early months of 2020, COVID-19 seemed to be everyone else's problem. That is, until early March. A Williamson County man who had just traveled to Boston became the first Tennessean to test positive for COVID-19. A week later,
well, my wife and I drove from Mount Sterling near Lexington. I'd be very disappointed if I spent the money I spent and came down here and they wouldn't let me in.
The SEC men's basketball tournament in Nashville was canceled. Bars on Broadway were ordered to close. By March 23rd, pretty much all of Nashville was shut down.
Until further notice, all businesses not performing essential services will close for 14 days, beginning at midnight tonight.
COVID-19 may not have hit home until March, but the race for a cure started long before that. Back in January, medical researchers were already working to decipher the genetic makeup of COVID-19. Almost every pharmaceutical company on the planet launched efforts to develop a vaccine. The previous record for developing an immunization was 4 years, but now companies were hoping to do it in just a fraction of that.
Our goal is to have a vaccine available for broad distribution by year-end or early next year.
By March, several drug makers were able to begin small-scale human trials. In July, Vanderbilt University Medical Center agreed to facilitate a much larger study for a vaccine being developed by Moderna.
We're excited to be taking part in a phase 3 vaccine study for a new coronavirus vaccine that we hope would be one of the ways that we can end this pandemic.
Volunteers were given 2 shots, some of the group receiving the vaccine, others receiving the placebo. Bill Snyder told us he signed up as soon as he heard about the trial.
I wanted to help get the science moving along. We really need an answer quickly as to whether this vaccine works so we can start immunizing people.
We checked back in with Bill in November. He still doesn't know which version he got, but didn't feel any side effects. He added, while researchers were working at a breakneck pace, every precaution was still being followed.
Continuing to test my blood and check to see how I'm doing.
By early November, both Pfizer and Moderna announced their trials were a success and they were ready to move forward. Now a new set of challenges emerge, like producing enough of it to immunize millions of people and prioritizing who gets it first. Vanderbilt's Dr. William Schaffner is part of the CDC committee who decided healthcare workers and long-time care facility residents should have access first.
It's been a very careful, thoughtful, deliberate discussion.
But the biggest challenge may await us in 2021, convincing millions of Americans that these vaccines are the best and safest way to conquer COVID.
I think it's really important, just like every year, you and I may not remember what brand of flu vaccine we got. We just know we're protected from severe flu. I hope the same can be said of COVID vaccines.
Chris Davis, News Channel 5.
New data will be released tomorrow, but the latest information shows just over 79,000 Tennesseans have been vaccinated. Doses should be available to everyone by late spring or early summer. Steve?